What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. Let's dive into our first news. Magomed Ankalaev has made it clear that he feels more confident than ever heading into his rematch with Alex Pereira. Speaking about the fight, Ankalaev explained that his preparation this time has been completely different compared to their first encounter. He admitted that while his preparation back then was enough to secure what he believed was a winning performance, it wasn't anywhere near the level he's operating at right now. Ankalaev stressed that this camp has elevated him to a new level, and fans should expect to see an entirely different fight when he steps back into the octagon against Pereira. According to Ankalaev, the biggest difference is that he now feels ready to dominate in all aspects of mixed martial arts. Whether it's standing on the feet or taking things to the ground, he believes he can control every area of the fight. He went on to say that in their first meeting, he wasn't able to show Pereira the full scope of his skills. This time, he insists things will be different. Ankalaev promised that he has plenty of surprises lined up for Pereira and that the champion is going to be caught off guard once the fight gets underway. His confidence in his ability to adjust and impose his game plan is stronger than ever, and he fully intends to prove it on fight night. As the light heavyweight division continues to heat up, Ankalaev also shared his thoughts on the growing pool of contenders. He pointed to fighters like Carlos Ulberg, who recently scored a knockout win over Dominic Reyes, as examples of fresh talent shaking things up. Ankalaev acknowledged Ulberg's momentum and described him as an interesting character who's building a solid streak. While he made it clear that his full focus remains on Pereira and the rematch this weekend, Ankalaev didn't shy away from recognizing the new blood rising through the ranks. He said that if the UFC decides to set up fights with these emerging contenders in the future, he'll gladly accept whatever challenge comes his way. Even though Ankalaev refused to look too far past Pereira, his tone showed that he understands how important this fight is not only for his own career, but for the entire division. A win here, especially in dominant fashion, would cement his claim as the rightful champion and put him in the driver's seat for future marquee matchups. For now, his message is simple. This is not the same fighter Pereira saw the first time. With improved preparation, renewed confidence, and a promise of unexpected surprises, Ankalaev is ready to show the world what he can do when everything finally comes together. Before moving to the next news, we have one quick request for you. We are constantly working on improving our content to earn your love and support. That is why we truly appreciate it if you could take just a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update here on MMA Pulse News. Moving on to another news, Alex Pereira has spoken about how his preparation for the rematch with Magomed Ankalaev has been very different compared to their first meeting. Pereira explained that this time around, he was able to dedicate himself fully to training without the distractions of constant traveling. That allowed him to stay in the gym, keep his focus sharp, and build a camp that he described as much better than the last one. He said there were fewer trips, more structure, and a stronger rhythm that kept him locked into the work he needed to do. Pereira admitted that compared to previous camps, this one feels close to perfect. He emphasized that his energy levels have been higher, his focus sharper, and every part of the preparation lined up just the way it should. By comparing how he felt before their first fight to how he feels now, Pereira said it brings him even more confidence heading into the rematch. He pointed out that their first meeting was already a close fight, so knowing he is in better condition now only motivates him further. He also reflected on the idea of rivalry with Ankalaev, saying it does play a part, but it's not what fuels him the most. Instead, it's the confidence that comes from the work he's put in and the camp he's built around this fight. He said he has faced big rivalries before, and while this one can certainly be called a rivalry, he doesn't let it take over his mindset. For Pereira, the goal is simple. Stay focused on the training, trust the preparation, and deliver when the cage door closes. Moving on to another news, MMA legend Wanderlei Silva has announced that he plans to sue Rafael Freitas after a shocking and chaotic post-fight brawl went viral. Silva recently made his exhibition boxing debut at a fight night event in Sao Paulo against Acelino Freitas. The match ended in controversy when Silva was disqualified after landing 3 headbutts on his opponent. What followed was absolute chaos inside the ring as tempers flared between both teams. In the middle of the commotion, Rafael Freitas, the son of Acelino, charged toward Silva and landed a brutal right hand that knocked the former MMA star down. The punch left Silva with a nasty gash on his eyelid, requiring several stitches. Reports also confirmed that Silva suffered a fractured nose along with 2 broken orbital bones. Even though Silva did not throw a single punch during the incident, he ended up badly hurt, suspended, and caught in the aftermath of a violent melee. Silva took to Instagram to share his frustration and announced that he will be taking legal action. In his post, he expressed the physical and emotional toll the incident had taken on him. He revealed that his injuries left him unable to work, unable to sleep, and in constant pain. He described what happened as a criminal act, insisting that every criminal act should be judged by the justice system. Silva made it clear that he is going after justice, vowing to sue Rafael in the coming weeks. He went on to detail the attack, explaining that Rafael entered the ring illegally and struck him multiple times. According to Silva, he was first hit in the back of the head before the devastating punch landed on his face, opening up a 7-stitch cut around his eye. The scene, Silva said, was humiliating and disturbing, as he was left lying on the ground while people who weren't even security staff dragged him away due to the lack of proper event security. Visibly upset, Silva spoke about how the experience left him hurt both inside and out. He emphasized that he will not let the matter slide and intends to pursue the case in court until justice is served. The incident has left fans shocked, as one of the sport's most respected veterans is now facing not just physical injuries, but also a long legal battle following what was supposed to be a showcase boxing debut. Moving on to another news, PFL Dubai delivered one of the most shocking moments of the year as former Bellator champion Sergio Pettis scored a devastating knockout over Magomed Magomedov, a close teammate of Khabib and Islam. The fight started strong for Magomedov, who came out with an aggressive game plan, chopping at Pettis' legs, landing clean right hands, and using his superior grappling to control much of the opening round. Pettis looked pressured early, forced to defend takedowns and absorb heavy strikes, but he stayed composed and patient, waiting for his moment. That moment came in the second round. As Magomedov pressed forward, looking to apply constant pressure, Pettis unleashed a perfectly timed spinning back elbow right near the cage. It landed flush, instantly folding Magomedov to the mat. The crowd erupted in disbelief as Pettis followed up with a crushing right hand to seal the finish. The referee quickly stepped in at 4 minutes and 31 seconds of round 2, declaring Sergio Pettis the winner by knockout. The shot not only silenced Magomedov's momentum, but immediately put Pettis on the shortlist for 2025's Knockout of the Year. Khabib and Islam were both in attendance, watching live from cageside as their teammate went down. A video shared by Red Corner MMA showed their raw reactions. The usually composed corner looked visibly shocked and disappointed as Magomedov lay on the canvas. It was a tough moment for the team, who had high hopes going into this fight. The knockout loss was not only devastating for Magomedov, but also a reminder of how quickly the fight game can change with one perfectly timed strike. But the night wasn't all disappointment for Khabib's camp. Also on the PFL Dubai card, Khabib's cousin Usman Normov captured the inaugural PFL lightweight championship in a hard-fought rematch against Paul Hughes. The bout went the distance across 5 intense rounds, with Usman leaning on his calculated striking and constant takedown threats. Hughes battled back with volume and heart, pushing the pace and creating razor-close exchanges, but in the end, the judges awarded Usman a unanimous decision win. The verdict sparked some debate, with many calling the decision controversial, yet it officially crowned Usman as the first PFL lightweight champion. While Magomedov's brutal knockout loss was a tough blow for Khabib and Islam's team, Usman's title win ensured the night ended on a high note. It was a rollercoaster event that perfectly captured the highs and lows of MMA. Moving on to another news, tragedy has struck the family of former UFC champion Jon Jones as it was announced that his brother, Arthur Jones, has passed away at the age of 39. Arthur, who was a Super Bowl champion during his time in the NFL, sadly left this world far too soon. The cause of his death has not yet been revealed. The Indianapolis Colts, one of the teams he played for, confirmed the heartbreaking news in a statement released on Friday. They did not provide details on how, when, or where Arthur passed away, leaving many shocked and saddened by the sudden announcement. Arthur's passing has sent shockwaves through both the NFL and MMA communities. The MMA world immediately rallied around Jon Jones, extending heartfelt condolences to him, his family, and their loved ones during this incredibly difficult time. Messages poured in from all corners of the sports world, paying tribute to Arthur and honoring his memory. The MMA Talk team also shared their sympathy, sending thoughts and prayers to Jon Jones and his family, while noting how deeply the MMA community mourns this tragic loss. Conor was among the first to react publicly, sharing his tribute with a heartfelt message. He wrote, "Very sad to hear this news. Arthur was a great man, a friendly giant. Godspeed." Arthur Jones' Dana White also paid his respects by posting a photo on Instagram, honoring Arthur's legacy and sending support to the Jones family. The UFC issued an official statement as well, writing, "The UFC is saddened to hear about the passing of Arthur Jones. Our thoughts go out to his family, friends, and loved ones. Fans and fighters alike joined in remembering Arthur, who was known not just for his athletic achievements, but also for his character and kindness. Rampage Jackson reacted in real time to the devastating news during one of his live streams. Shocked, he asked if it was Jon's older brother and expressed disbelief at how suddenly life can change. His reaction reflected what many felt upon hearing the announcement: shock, sadness, and sympathy for the Jones family. Arthur Jones leaves behind a legacy both in sports and in the lives he touched. He was more than just Jon Jones' older brother. He was a champion in his own right, loved by teammates, respected by opponents, and cherished by those who knew him personally. His passing at just 39 years old is a heartbreaking reminder of how fragile life can be, and the MMA world stands united in mourning this immense loss. Moving on to another news, RDR finally cleared the air on the hectic middleweight title picture during his latest appearance on the Overdogs podcast with Mike Perry. Originally, RDR was scheduled to headline UFC Vancouver against Fluffy Hernandez, but that plan fell apart when Fluffy pulled out of the fight. Instead, the Dutch contender is now set to face Brendan Allen, and RDR has his eyes locked on making a statement. Beyond just this fight, RDR also gave fans an interesting look into the bigger picture, explaining what he believes is the key to solving Khamzat inside the octagon. According to RDR, the most important rule when fighting Khamzat is simple: you cannot allow him to take your back. That's where things spiral out of control quickly, and once he has that position, it's nearly impossible to recover. He added that the best approach isn't just to wait for Khamzat to shoot, but to actually threaten takedowns of your own. RDR pointed out that his top game is just as dangerous as Khamzat's, and creating those exchanges could open up opportunities to shift the fight in his favor. Still, he made it clear that his immediate focus is Brendan Allen, not Khamzat. RDR is determined to do what others have failed to achieve in recent memory, not just beating Brendan, but finishing him. He emphasized that Brendan has been tested against top-level opponents like Fluffy and Imavov, and while both men had strong moments, neither could finish him. RDR sees that as the challenge and the opportunity. If he can be the first to stop Brendan, it sets him apart and strengthens his case for a title shot. At the same time, RDR didn't hold back when discussing Paulo Costa. He revealed that Costa was originally offered the UFC Vancouver fight, but turned it down. According to RDR, Costa only wanted a 3-rounder and refused to step into a 5-round headliner. He openly criticized Costa for passing up such a golden opportunity, saying that it made no sense for a top-ranked guy to walk away from that kind of fight. For RDR, staying on this card was about more than just keeping busy. It was about staying in position for a potential showdown with Khamzat. RDR mentioned that one of his big motivations to stay active was the possibility of fighting Khamzat in January, before Ramadan begins in February. He explained that the UFC briefly discussed pushing the Fluffy fight back to a later date, but there were doubts about whether Fluffy would be ready in time. Rather than wait, RDR pushed for a new opponent, determined to keep working and to showcase his skills. He believes that if he can make a statement against Brendan, especially with a finish, it will put him right at the front of the line for a fight with Khamzat. RDR also acknowledged the danger Brendan brings. Both Fluffy and Imavov fought him. Both lost the first round, and Brendan nearly finished Fluffy in the last round, hurting him badly. None of them were able to put Brendan away, which is exactly why RDR is so focused on doing it. For him, beating Brendan is not enough. The real goal is to finish him and prove that he belongs at the very top of the division. Moving on to another news, Rampage Jackson had a heated moment last night on stream after someone brought up his son Raja. Things escalated quickly when the guy asked a question, and Rampage immediately snapped back, repeating multiple times for him to get out of his face. The energy shifted fast, as Rampage's tone made it clear this was not a subject he was comfortable with. He told the guy straight up to get the hell out of his face, calling him weird and dismissing him harshly. The tension in that moment showed just how personal and sensitive the topic is for him. A few minutes later, the same guy returned and tried to apologize. This time, Rampage handled it differently. After cooling down a little, he actually posed for a picture with him. The guy tried to clarify by saying, "I didn't know you didn't want to talk about your son." Rampage then explained that it wasn't about not caring for his son, it was about not wanting to discuss him publicly, especially while live on stream. He said very directly, "He's my son, I don't want to talk about it, bro. Think about it." That line made it clear that while he has love for his son, it's not something he wants to debate or share in front of an audience. The conversation took another turn when Rampage asked the guy how old he was. The answer came back, 18. Rampage then broke it down, saying that at 18, you're old enough to know when a subject is sensitive, old enough to understand when not to cross that line. He repeated several times that talking about his son was a touchy subject, and the guy should have known better. Even though the person said he genuinely didn't realize, Rampage wasn't letting him off easy. He told him that being 18 isn't too young to recognize boundaries and to respect what someone doesn't want to talk about. Despite the rough start, Rampage did soften up once the guy acknowledged his mistake. They took a stream picture together, and Rampage reminded him not to be disrespectful in the future. The young fan responded respectfully, calling him sir, and the whole thing ended on a calmer note. Rampage closed it off with a quick reminder that some topics are off limits and told the guy, "God bless you, brother." The entire exchange showed both sides of Rampage's personality, his fiery reaction when something hits a nerve, but also his willingness to cool down once apologies are made. It was a tense but very real moment that highlighted just how protective he is when it comes to his son and his personal life.
That's it from MMA Pulse News. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.